My computer is saying that the speaker is not working, but I can hear everybody and I can talk, so I'm not sure what it's doing.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I've never had a problem before. Maybe I wore the speaker or the. Apparently, I'm talking too much.
Apparently, we're
Oh,
live streaming.
Yeah.
Okay, we're now live, Mayor Jamieson.
Thank you. Okay, welcome everybody. I am going to call the Standing Committee meeting of Council for July 7th to order. You have before you a copy of the agenda. We do have we do have a deletion as it's our delegation. Item number 7 will be deleted. Aaron and Brian would prefer to meet in public, so we put them on the agenda for July 28th to present their annual report. So that item number 7 is deleted. We also need to add an excused absence under 8, I guess it's 7E now, for Councillor Dowie, as he's unavailable tonight. So we'll add that under 7E, a new business, and 8 will be adjournment. So I'm looking for a motion to adopt the agenda as amended. Councillor Dufert, seconded by Councillor Anderson. Any questions? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Item number 3 is any declarations of interest? None being noted. We'll move on to item number 4, announcements, awards, ceremonies, and presentations. Anything from council? Councillor Dufert, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd just like to congratulate all the organizers for the Black Lives Matter rally on the weekend. It was very well attended, and we had very nice coverage from the CBC and other sources, and a nice speech by yourself, Mayor Jamieson. And I know Keith would say this were he here, so I want to make sure that it was put out. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anything else from council? Okay, nothing noted. Anything from administration? SAO Smith?
Nothing from administration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 5, councillor liaison reports. And I realize this one's a toughie as the COVID situation is a little hard to meet with people. I did have a chance to have a quick chat with Chief Cayenne, and we're going to do a formal meeting here. I'd like for both us to meet with them again. We're going to try something, do social distancing or whatever. He'd like to host something, or maybe I think it's our turn to host. So it would be nice to be able to get together with him and his council as well. So we're going to try and set something up that way. So that's my report there. Anything from council? Councillor Willows, go ahead. Brian, you're muted.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As we had already previously mentioned, we've postponed the presentation by myself and the CEO for a time when we can meet in public. We had hoped that that would be tonight, but we will be doing that at the end of the month. That said, the annual report is attached to the minutes. I would really encourage everyone to read them before we come before you. There's a lot of really good information in there. It's a really good annual report and a lot of good metrics and measurements. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Councillor Chambers, who is now the executive assistant to the CEO, for putting it together. It's just a really wonderful job. And so I would please encourage you all to read it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Willows. Anything further from council? Nothing noted. We'll move on to administrative inquiries, and I will pass the floor over to SAO Smith.
Thank you, Your Worship. We'll give our director's reports. We'll start with the Director of Protective Services.
Thank you, Your Worship. Not too much to add above and beyond the council report that's in there. But I did talk a little bit in the council report that we were working on getting Rocky Mountain Phoenix into Hay River to do the service work that's required on our breathing apparatus. I'm pleased to report that that has been completed as of this morning. So all of the recreation, public works, and fire department self-contained breathing apparatuses are now serviced and good to go for another year. And just another short note, I just thought I'd remind everybody that the fire danger in our area is still at a high level, and it is supposed to be moving to extreme over the next couple days. So our partial fire ban is still in place, and I honestly don't see lifting the fire ban anytime soon, looking at the weather in the future. And that's about all I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for our Director of Protective Services? None being noted, I'll pass it back to SAO Smith.
Thank you, the Director of Finance.
There you go.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Finance continues to work on matters related to year-end and our Q2. We're anticipating a Finance Committee meeting either the latter part of this week, if we can squeeze it in, or early next week to review the final changes to the 2019 financials, at which point we'll bring forward that information along with our Q1 information to Council. Also, we're scheduling a meeting with representatives from the Elks, the Hay River Golf Club, and the Hay River Ski Club to renew a user agreement between the four parties in an effort to clarify some of the roles and responsibilities associated there. Also, we're making good progress in implementing our new budgeting software. We've reached the halfway point on that, so I'm hoping that that's going to be fully ready to go when we start our budgeting cycle in September. And we're also making good progress in our cost of service model, which will help support equity amongst our utility customers. Lastly, the town office did reopen yesterday, as we did announce last week. We're open to the public from 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. to receive payments and engage in other business. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from Council? Deputy Mayor Bouchard, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a question from the resident. I just, why the limited hours at the town hall? I'm just wondering what our barriers or restrictions are, I guess.
Thank you. I'll pass that back to Sam. Our Director of Finance, please.
Yeah, thank you. I think the rationale behind that was to allow for a bit of a time to transition back to working from the office, and to allow for time for staff to clean and sanitize the facility. After every transaction, we need to sanitize and sterilize the Interact machine, that sort of thing. So I think that was the driving force behind why we set those hours as we did. They're also, I would say, they're comparable to the hours that were set with other communities. We looked at what Inuvik and Yellowknife and Smith were doing. So at this point, we wanted to get the office reopened, and I think we're ahead of the curve in terms of reopening the office. But we also want to do so in a manner that's safe for both employees and the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions from Council? Yeah, Councilor Groenewegen, go ahead.
When do you expect to return to regular hours?
Director of Finance.
I don't have an estimate for that at this point, Councilor Groenewegen. We wanted to get the office reopened. We wanted to see how it's going. We're somewhat. We're in unprecedented times, and so we're somewhat playing it by ear and going based on the recommendations. It's promising today to see that the state of emergency was lifted, but it's certainly something that we've been discussing and will continue to do so.
Yeah, I believe it will be monitored on an ongoing basis, and yeah, this COVID thing is ever changing daily, so. and we will be changing with it. But yeah, obviously we want to be open as much as we can be for public, but safety does have to be job one. Any further questions from council? None being noted, I'll pass it back to SAO Smith.
Thank you. We'll go next to the Director of Recreation. Sorry, Stefan, you're on mute there.
Sorry about that. Few updates to provide, but no change to our facilities operations. The one update regarding facilities, as I can confirm, I've gone back to the office, working from the office there, and we have a couple full-time employees that should be returning to work at the community center shortly. The community center remains closed, but we will have some employees working on location there, as well as our maintenance staff that have that as kind of their home base before they redeploy to green spaces. Our summer heat day camp started up yesterday, and in the 2 short days they had, things have gone very well. And our coordinator we hired this summer is doing an awesome job, as are the 2 park attendants that we hired. Beach attendant partnership is with ITI is also going very well at the beach. Our lead, our head lifeguard is doing a very good job leading the way there. Feedback is very good from our aquatic staff, as well as ITI and the parks employees. So that partnership is going very well, and numbers are very good at the beach with the nice weather we've had. Again, in programming, our rec programmer is advertising outdoor fitness classes to resume next week, and she put out a survey to the public and got 35 responses in about 12 hours, or a little over 12 hours yesterday. So the interest is definitely there in the community. Very positive feedback from people interested in participating in some outdoor fitness classes. The plan, which was advertised this afternoon, a bit of a weekly schedule, was based on the responses that were received, as well as other feedback that was received in the last few months. Classes are set to begin Monday, but all classes are contingent on minimum number of registrations to ensure that they're viable. We will be starting training on our trail improvement project, which again is a partnership with the NWT Métis Nation and the Great Trail organization, and with some support from the local Hay River Métis Government Council. We've hired a project manager and 4 laborers. Training next week will include chainsaw and brushing equipment operation, bear awareness training provided by ENR wildlife officers, some Town of Hay River safety training, and first aid training for some of the staff that require it. July work will concentrate on resurfacing of some trails, revisiting some of the areas that we did in 2019, and also resurfacing some of the areas we're concentrating on in 2020. There is some signage that we need to put up to fulfill some commitments to the Great Trail organization and some of the funding we received, and also some preparation for the work in August. We received approval from ENR for trail widening and brushing after the migratory bird nesting season, so we're set to work on brushing and widening of trails in August, but we do have to wait till that migratory bird season is done. Maintenance continue to work to support the regular maintenance of parks and green spaces, which includes mowing and our ball diamonds. They are also supporting at the Wharf Pavilion mostly with staining, but we're also going to support with the installation of sod later this week. We are scheduling special project work both internally and with contractors for the end of July and August. Those are all projects that that were in the budgets and that we're hoping to get done. Mostly to some repairs, but also lots of work to improve some of our facilities for better use by residents. We've increased preparation of the ball diamonds. The men's fast pitch is hosting Fort Simpson for kind of a mini tournament this weekend. That's this Saturday at the Glenn Smith Field. And mixed slow pitch league sounds like they're looking to start up next week. So there'll be a bit more use of the ball diamonds, which is good to see some of our user groups getting back to return to play. On the human resource side, I just want to confirm that redeployment of our programming staff continues to go well. We had a few employees that were redeployed, part-time and full-time employees redeployed, and that's going well. And we will be advertising, I believe they'll be going out tomorrow, job advertisements for 3 positions on our aquatics team. Those include the aquatics supervisor, senior lifeguard position, and lifeguard position. And those are my updates for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for our Director of Recreation? None being noted, I'll pass it back to SAO Smith.
Thank you. The Director of Public Works and Services.
Thank you, Your Worship. First off, I'll note that our boil water advisory has been lifted. Little note of caution that our water is not up to our best levels that we get. It's still a little dirty, but it has met the requirements. But just a word of warning that we may have to put the boil water advisory back on if it gets worse again. Just looking at the river, the levels are still high and the water that's flowing through there is still dirty. So there's a chance it might go back on again. But for now, the boil water advisory has been lifted. Our public works staff working on doing a little brushing work around town this week. We're going to get out and start doing some line painting in the downtown area, getting that going later this week and into next week. Have received a couple of comments on our gravel roads, both in the industrial area and in Old Town. We were kind of hoping that they would hold up until we got our heavy equipment operator hired to work on the grader, but it looks like they're getting a little rough. So we will be looking at contracting out some grader work just to smooth out the roads a little bit, probably either later this week or next week, depending on availability of contractors for that. Other than that, our Caribou Crescent project is moving along nicely. We have Riverview shut down to traffic today, just in the area where they are replacing a sewer manhole there. So it was shut down today. Will be down again tomorrow. They're hoping to have traffic flow back up by the end of the day tomorrow. It might end up being Thursday, but tomorrow or Thursday, flow should be back up there. Other items, I had a meeting, a pre-hearing meeting for our water license renewal this morning with the Mackenzie Valley Land and Water Board, as well as interested parties. It was a pretty quick meeting, just taking notes of which parties are going to want to present at the public hearings, which are scheduled for September of this year. One other note, we are in the hiring process for both our heavy equipment operator and our town foreman position, or general foreman position. So moving through the process of that, I believe we'll be setting up interviews for both positions coming up pretty quickly here and hope to get them filled. And that's my update for this week.
Thank you, Director. Any questions for our Director of Public Works? Got off lucky there. Okay, SAO Smith, back to you.
Thank you, Worship. The focus for myself has really been working with our past SAO, Ms. Scocher, on summarizing her open files and doing role transitions. So a fair amount of work there with doing that. And meeting with our mayor, communication with some key contacts and such. So yeah, it's really busy with that. Have started to put some thoughts on our update to the strategic planning document for council that has been requested previously. So I do plan to reach out to the mayor to discuss that a bit further, but aim to provide something later this month, if not early into August. Also balancing some of the responsibilities from the ASAO position. Right now, one of those is still managing the project for the pavilion. It's very busy there right now, very busy on site, and as the director of public work or director of recreation indicated, they are out supporting that project, as well as several contractors, as we still target pending some favorable weather, which may change this weekend, but anyways, we are still trying to target a July 18th opening of the wharf with the operator. Also working on contribution reporting that was tied to our funding through Canadore for that project. And tomorrow I am joining the mayor and Councillor Anderson for a meeting with NWT Housing to discuss the Hay River shelter, amongst some other housing related issues. And that concludes the administration inquiries update. Thank you.
Thank you, SAO Smith. Any questions from council? None being noted. Moving on to 7A, Public Works Monthly Report for June. Looking for a motion.
Your worship, I noted that Councillor Groenewegen did have his hand up there.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councillor Groenewegen, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to know if there were any new developments to report on the lease application for the lift station lot.
I can answer that. We have sat down and are in discussions with Mr. Griffith, so would not be wise to be speaking to that right now, but I will update council as soon as I can.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything else from council for our SAO? Okay, nothing being noted. I will move on to item 7A, Public Works Monthly Report for June, and I need a motion. Councillor Dufert, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. I move the recommendation that the Council of the Town of Hay River accepts the Public Works Monthly Report for June 2020.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Willows. Any questions to the motion? All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. 7B, Tourism and Economic Development Report for June. Looking for a motion. Councillor Anderson, go ahead.
Thank you, Worship. I move the recommendation of the Council of the Town of Hay River accepts the Tourism and Economic Development Report for the month of June 2020.
Thank you. Need a seconder? Councillor Chambers, thank you. Any questions to the motion? I guess just a comment. It's pretty exciting. I guess our new interpretive and highway signage is ready to be put up, so it'll be nice to see that. It's been a while in coming, so that's exciting for us, and I can't wait to see it. So all in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. 7C, Recreation Monthly Report for June. Looking for a motion. Councillor Chambers, go ahead.
I'll move the recommendation that the Council of the Town of Hay River accepts the report entitled Recreation and Community Services Monthly Report for June as presented.
Thank you. Need a seconder? Councillor Groenewegen. Any questions to the motion? None being noted. All in favor? Perfect. Thank you. Motion carries. Item 7D, Emergency Services Monthly Report for June. Looking for a motion. Deputy Mayor Bouchard, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. I move that the Council of Town of Hay River accepts the Emergency Services Activity Report for June 2020 as presented.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Anderson. Any questions to the motion? None being noted. All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. 7E, excuse absence for Councillor Dowie. Looking for a motion. Oh, Deputy Mayor Bouchard, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just looking for the motion here, but I'll excuse Councillor Dowie from the council meeting, the standing committee of council for June 7th, 2020.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Anderson. All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. And item number 8, Councillor Willows. You're on mute, Brian. But just before I get you to go ahead, I just want to let everybody know that we're going to take a quick 3-minute recess before we meet again for our special meeting. So go ahead, Councillor Willows.
I move that we adjourn.
Thank you. So it being, I'm at here. Oh, 7:01. So at 7:05, we'll reconvene, we re-meet. And yeah, for our special meeting. So 3 minutes, guys, 7:05, and I'll see you then.